The FeelWorld Live Pro L1 provides the right features needed to live stream in 1080. 4 HDMI inputs can be found on the back of the unit along with an HDMI out and a power jack. It also has a USB port for export as well as a LAN and audio jacks. While I only used the Live Pro L1 for a week, I found it solid and well constructed. The box includes a 2-foot USB cable and a power adapter, pretty much everything you need from the streaming side to get things working. Looks good, but how well does it perform? Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Simon. Thanks for tuning into The Ordinary Filmmaker. If you're new here, subscribe to get notification of new videos like this one so you don't miss any news, rumors, or tutorials. And don't forget, I'm giving away a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. Details are in the description down below, or you can watch this video here for more details. A couple of weeks ago, FeelWorld reached out to me to ask me if I'd want to review one of their products. I said, sure, I'm interested. I tried live streaming about 10 months ago, but gave up because I didn't have quality gear to help me get the job done right. And I only had one camera. Now, if I'm going to do a live stream, well, I want to do one that adds value. I learned a lot in 10 months, and with the Live Pro L1, I was ready to try again. Setting up the Live Pro was very easy, but before I was ready to go live, I needed some streaming software, so I downloaded OBS and Ecamm. Now, Ecamm is easier to set up and use, so I went with it. About half an hour later of playing with it, I was ready to go live on the air. While I set up each camera to output at 1920 by 1080, I forgot to tell Ecamm, and the default setting, 720. But enough of Ecamm. It's not the focus of this video. I could actually do an entire video or series of videos on streaming software like Ecamm and OBS. Setting up FeelWorld's Live Pro L1 is actually pretty simple. Simply connect your cameras to the HDMI inputs. You'll want to disable your camera's power save capabilities to prevent your camera from shutting off while streaming. That's a little bit embarrassing. So I connected my Canon R5 and Canon 70D to the first 2 HDMI inputs. Now you can connect up to 4 cameras to the Live Pro. Now in terms of output, well, FeelWorld provides 2 outputs over HDMI and USB. I used the supplied USB cable on the side of the unit. FeelWorld gets credit for supplying a USB cable, but it is only 2 feet long. There isn't any HDMI cable provided. Now, plug it into the power. Live Pro takes about 30 seconds to boot up. Once ready to go, you'll notice that the LCD screen is divided into 4 sections, one for each camera connected. Now make sure each camera's output is set to no more than 1920 by 1080 at up to 60 frames per second. Any higher, and the Live Pro just won't see the signal. It took me a few minutes to realize why I wasn't getting any signal from my Canon R5. It defaults to 4K. Now, like many video switches, the Live Pro tops out at 1920 by 1080 at 60 frames per second. Now when I set it up, I skipped all the menu settings. I really wanted to see how easy it was to set up this video switcher and operate it without reading the manual. And it is pretty much plug and play, but there are a few gotchas. One thing you do want to check is your camera feeds to make sure that they're outputting at the right resolution and frame rate. To check your cameras are outputting correctly or as expected, select the menu button, followed by input. The right dial doubles as a dial and a push button. So rotate the dial until you're over the menu item you want, then press down to select. There you go. You can see I'm pushing 1920 by 1080 through both cameras. Now there are 4 buttons corresponding to the 4 camera inputs, and they're numbered 1 through 4. Now when the unit's powered on, a red button means that the camera connected to that button is live on the air. Now green means that the cameras are ready to go on the air, but they're not yet queued. And flashing green, well, that means that the camera's ready to be switched over to that one. So if you move the T-bar, then that camera's going to be live. Now once the cameras are connected, you've powered on, you've checked your video feed resolution and refresh rate, got your streaming software set up, you'll want to select your transitions next. Now use the SW button to select Mix. Live Pro provides you with 15 transitions. And I know what you're thinking. Simon, that's not a lot of transitions. My video editing software has dozens upon dozens. And true, but let's be honest, most of those transitions are pretty much gimmicky. I pretty much use 3 video transitions for my videos, and that's fade to color, cut, and cross dissolve. I recommend using the fade for most of your live streaming. It and cut provides the most professional look and feel. Okay, you're still curious, right? All right, let's take a look at some of the transitions provided. Well, we only have 15 transitions here. I wouldn't say any of these are really gimmicky. They're pretty standard, they're pretty common. And my favorite here is the fade, which is the first one. And if you move the T-bar really fast or really slow, and you can even pause it mid-transition. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but you do have complete control over the speed at which the transitions occur. And even when it goes back to this display here, the last transition you selected is the one you get. You don't always have to keep it in that mode, but to select a new one, you do have to press the button again. And you use this dial here, which is moving it to the right, and then press down to select. If you don't press down, it doesn't come into effect. And once again, move the T-bar. I'll go pick another one for the way back. And this is a top-down. Pretty simple transitions here. Nothing really gimmicky. But like I said, I generally prefer the fade or the cut, or a fade to black. And you can achieve a fade to black by just simply unplugging the camera and doing a fade, and then it's going to fade to black or dissolve to black. Now, one thing I want you to notice here too is that it's still transmitting live information while the effect is in place. So look at this here. You can see I've just paused it, I've held it there, and you can still see my hand moving. So it doesn't actually freeze the image when it does the transition, which is really nice. And we've just got a few more to do here. This one's from all corners. And then we have the shutter effect. I'm not a big fan of these. Like I said, I like the fade and the cut. They work really, really well. And here's our last one. So there you go. I still prefer the fade and cut. What do you think? What transitions do you prefer the most? Live Pro also provides picture-in-picture capabilities. Again, press the SW button until PIP lights up, which stands for picture-in-picture. Off is the default option, but you can also select any corner of the screen or even take up half the screen for picture-in-picture. Now, I could have spent a lot more time in this video going over every menu detail, taking time on every transition and picture-in-picture effect. But I don't want to bore you. The Live Pro L1 from FeelWorld gets 5 stars for ease of use and delivering on its core capabilities. It's the easiest section of the entire, or easiest part of the entire live streaming process. And at $300, it's one of the more cheaper video streaming switches or video streaming switches out there. But before I sign off, a quick word of caution. You're definitely going to want to develop a checklist. The most difficult part is getting your streaming software set up correctly. For the best experience, I do recommend Ecamm, but OBS is a great open source piece of software, very, very capable and functional. It is free, but not as easy to learn as Ecamm. Now, some key takeaways. Number 1, turn off your camera's power save options. Nothing worse than going dark during your live stream. Number 2, make sure that your camera is set to 1920 by 1080 at no more than 60 frames per second, and the same can be said for your streaming software. You might also want to save these to a custom mode. Number 3, become familiar with that push dial and how to select and transition camera views. Remember, red means that you're on the air, flashing green means that you're ready to be switched, and green means your cameras are on standby. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the Synco Lav and Shotgun microphones, the Lav S6E and the M3. I'll be awarding these once the channel reaches 20,000 subscribers, which is only about 6,000 subscribers away. And I'll be awarding the Canon EOS R5, a brand new full-frame mirrorless camera, once I reach 100,000 subscribers. And every 10,000 subscribers after 20, well, there'll be a new prize. But thanks for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.